So you want to come to Medellín, and I don't blame you. Those of us who live here think it's one of the best places in the world. Stick around because I am from here and will share with you my local perspective. So we will see, is it still dangerous? The best places to live? Can you live like a millionaire with your salary? The right mindset before arriving here? Why expats and digital nomads keep choosing Medellín? The expat community here? And I know you all, and I am sure this topic will be interesting, so stick until the end. Before we dive in the video, I want you to feel welcome to the city even before you get here. We locals love making people feel right at home. So is Medellín still dangerous? Well, let's hear from someone who used to have a reputation here. Dangerous. Es que definitivamente con estos gringos no se puede. The most dangerous thing in Medellín is falling in love with the city and then wanting coming back to your country. So, no le vean tanto problema a las cosas. However, right in the 1990s and 1980s, Medellín and in general Colombia was a super dangerous country. But just to give you some context, for example, one of the teachers I had back when I was a high school student had all of his friends when he was a teenager killed, and he was the only one who survived. And the only reason for that was because his mother didn't allow him to go out after 4 p.m. while the rest of his friends were playing football or whatever. And they died because they were victims of crossfire or were directly assassinated by hitmans or were involved in illegal or narco stuff, so it was super dangerous. Comment if you would like me to share more stories about how was life back then. And while there is still some crime in the city, it's nothing compared to how it was in the 1980s and 1990s. As long as you don't give papaya, which is an expression here that means do not put yourself in a situation where others can take advantage of you, you will be safe. So don't be the gringo who wear super expensive watches and is showing his last iPhone right in the city, because the most likely is that someone in a motorcycle will go and grab your iPhone right from your hand. It's basically to have common sense, which leads us to the next section, that is, what are the best places to live right now? This is the map of Medellín, and one thing to know is that the city gets better the more you are at the south of the city. So basically the north of the city tends to be more dangerous, while the south is better in general. So here we are in Google Maps, and this is the map of Medellín. I recommend you starting your journey in El Poblado because it's the place with the biggest expat community. Also, it's the place where you will find the most foreigners, tourists. But one thing to mention here is to avoid Provenza in terms of living, because it's a pretty noisy place and where you will find a lot of entertainment, restaurants, bars, discos, etc. Talking about malls, the best ones are Oviedo, Santa Fe, and El Tesoro, being El Tesoro the most luxury one. Now you want to move away from all the tourism. Other good option is Laureles, which is right here. But the safest place in the city, I will tell, is Envigado. The best mall here is Centro Comercial Viva. And I will recommend you going to Casa Museo Otra Parte. Co-working there is incredible, and the best restaurants in Envigado are in this place called Calle de la Buena Mesa. If you want a more affordable place, you can also go to Sabaneta, which is right after Envigado. And while being more affordable and similarly safe, it is a little far from El Poblado, where maybe most of your friends will be. In Sabaneta, the best mall is Centro Comercial Mallorca. I also recommend you visiting Sabaneta Park. However, one thing I haven't seen mentioned in other videos are where are the most luxury places. Because yeah, in Envigado and in El Poblado you will find pretty luxury apartments, but the most luxury properties are placed in Las Palmas, which is this avenue where you will find literally mansions. But even more luxury than Las Palmas are the properties located pretty far the city but near the international airport of Medellín, and are properties located in Llano Grande. So if you're planning to invest in real estate in Medellin, I recommend you checking these areas. One great feature of Medellin is that it is near a lot of towns, or as we call it, pueblitos. If you want to experience a more traditional side of the culture, I recommend you visiting Santa Fe de Antioquia, also Santa Elena, Guarne, Jardín, Antioquia, and I can keep going because there are so many. But I really recommend you researching about the pueblitos that are near Medellin so you can visit and see a more traditional side of the country. With your income, can you live like a millionaire here? I have put together a lifestyle tier for you, but before we dive into that, let me show you a quick comparison of US wages versus the average wages here in Medellin. That way you can get a sense on how your budget compares and how rich you might feel compared to the locals. I did my homework, and here is the table of how much the American or average individual earns, how much the top 10, 5 and 1% earns in the US. But before I show you how much Colombians and people from Medellin earn, I want you to comment how many times more do you think Americans in general earn compared to Colombian people. 1, 5, 10 times more? Comment it. Because the surprising reality is that if you pay close attention, in general, Americans earn from 9 to 10 times more in every category. So a conclusion here is that the top 1% is for the average or median individual in America, what an American in every category on every percentile is for a Colombian in that respective percentile. If you are liking this video, please remember to subscribe to my channel and comment which of these content ideas would you like me to do next, or what other ideas do you have for my content. I also plan to make another series apart from Medellin, maybe about other cities or another topics in general. One disclaimer before showing you the lifestyle tier, I have made it thinking in foreigners and not in the locals. As you saw before, here people can live with $500 a month, but I know it's not the kind of lifestyle you are looking for, and I assumed in general you are earning more. Starting with 1.5 to 2K, that is the minimum I recommend you to come here. You will be able to rent a furnished apartment with 1 bedroom in Laureles, Envigado or Sabaneta. In that range, you will have to cook most of the food. But I think the sweet spot is between 2K and 3.5K because you will be able to live like a high middle class person in pretty safe and beautiful furnished apartments with 2 to 3 bedrooms with that price. Regarding to the food, you will have a mix of home cooking, frequent cafes, and 2 to 3 dinners a week. And I want to mention that regarding to the insurance and health, if you register and pay into an EPS as an independent resident, health cotization is 12.5% of your contribution base, usually 40% of declared income. But you can also pay something called Medicina Prepagada, that is extra to the EPS, but it will provide you with a better service and faster scheduling. But if you want and can live like a VIP, you will enjoy life at its maximum. With this budget, you will be able to rent the best places in the city. And aside from the normal EPS, you will be able to hire doctors of any specialty to go to your home, and most of your food will be in the best restaurants. Now let's talk about the right mindset, starting with the culture. Medellin is warm, social, and proud. We greet with buenas, we linger over tinto, and we show up our family. If you are friendly and patient, people open doors for you. In our culture, people are proud of themselves. We dress well not just for ourselves, but for others. Dressing at casual is not a flip-flop city at night, and take this seriously. It's not just about what you wear, but how you smell. We even have specific words for bad smells from different parts of the body. For the feet, we have pecueca or olor a queso. For the armpit, we have chucha or grajo. And for the mouth, people will tell you that you have a smell or tufo. It's not about how expensive your clothes are, but how well you take care of yourself. Let me give you an example. My dad almost always take a shower at the morning and at the evening. When I was a kid, I noticed he put on lotion even at the night. So I asked him, why do you put on lotion at this hour? And he told me, in the day I put on lotion for others, at night I smell good for your mother. Ever since, when I run out of lotion, he always gives me a new one. As you can see, we have a pretty strong culture of cleanliness. Just so you know, if this seems unusual for you, here people shower at least once a day, and some, like my dad, twice or even 3 times a day. Other thing to know is that you will need to learn Spanish. You can survive with English in some areas, but your life 10x's in Spanish. This will help you avoid tourist pricing a little bit to build genuine friendships and navigate services. If you are coming from a major city like New York or Los Angeles, you will notice that life is slower. Processes can take more time and be more relational. Things get done through people, not just systems. So breathe and make buffer time into your plans. If you need speed, over-communicate, confirm on WhatsApp, and set clear deadlines. You will notice that compared with the place you came from, Medellín, and in general all the cities in Colombia and I think in Latin America, are noisy. In particular, paisas love music and celebrating. People often use fireworks, especially when a local football team wins a match. You will have to get used to it if you want to enjoy the city. Also, regarding fireworks, I really recommend visiting on November 30 to see the Alborada, when people celebrate the beginning of Christmas with lots of fireworks. Wow! Because yes, in Colombia, Christmas isn't just December 25. The entire month has that vibe. Of course, people still work, but you will notice an enthusiastic, festive atmosphere all through December. One thing many foreigners notice right away is how much paisas love their pets, especially dogs. You will see people walking their dogs at all hours, from early morning in the parks to late at night around the neighborhoods. You will find that most restaurants, cafes, and even malls are pet-friendly. Why expats and digital nomads keep choosing Medellín? I am originally from Manizales, another city in Colombia, but I have lived in Medellín since I was 11 years old, and I completely understand why so many people keep choosing Medellín. It comes down to 4 things: convenience, nature, weather, and the people. We are basically aligned with Eastern or Central US time, so people abroad don't have to deal with crazy hours. And the city is really well connected. A flight to Miami takes only 3 hours, so it's like having a quick bridge to the US. Also, what amazes visitors the most is how accessible services are. Things that feel like luxuries in other countries are very affordable for foreigner budgets. Housekeepers and meal prep, trainers, barbers, Spanish teachers, even dance instructors who come to your home, also doctors and veterinarians doing in-house visits. And then there is Rappi. For us it is normal, but for many foreigners it's something that blows their mind. You can get almost everything delivered: groceries, medicines, even electronics. And if you wonder about shopping, we also have courier companies that bring Amazon packages straight to Medellín. However, I haven't seen expat videos talking about Mercado Libre, but it's basically our Amazon, and not just in Medellín, but all across Latin America. Ensure to give it a shot. Something Medellín never loses is its greenery. Even in the middle of the city, you will find trees on every street and plants on people's balconies. We like to bring nature into our homes. A small but beautiful detail is that many people put fruit outside for birds. It's part of the culture, and that's why you see so many colorful species flying around. And the moment you leave the valley to visit a pueblo, the landscape changes so quickly. Mountains, rivers, coffee fields, etc. The weather. We call it the city of eternal spring, and honestly that's not just a slogan. Temperatures usually stay between 18 to 28 degrees Celsius, which means no extreme heat or cold. What's fun is how it changes depending on when you are. Go high into the mountains and you get cooler air. Travel just 1 hour away and the climate feels completely different. Kindness of people. Above everything else, what makes Medellín really special is its people. We Paisas are known for being warm, curious, and welcoming. It's part of the culture to make you feel at home. Neighbors will say you buenas every time they see you. Taxi drivers will give you mini story lessons. And strangers on the street might go out of their way to show you directions. For me, having grown up here, I sometimes take it for granted. I'm going to be pretty quick with the expat community. These are the Facebook pages I recommend you. These are the Instagram pages I recommend you. All of them hold in-person events. And if you want to know more about how to live here, I also recommend you these YouTube channels. Now let's go with the spicy part. 5 pros and 5 cons of dating here. Pros. First, girls here, even in the entire country, are known for being the most beautiful ones. Second, you as a foreigner will stand out. 3. Acquisition power here is lower. By default, you are richer than 90% of men. 4. They are more feminine compared with westernized women. That's why you need to learn Spanish. The more English they know, the more westernized they will be. And 5. If you fit the stereotype of a tall, blue-eyed, cute foreigner, muscular, and rich guy, you are going to notice a huge difference, even if you weren't considered that tall or cute or rich in your original country. Cons. Foreigners in general, except for other Latin Americans, have 2 stigmas. First of all, they have the stigma of being super boring. And second of all, Europeans have the stigma of smelling bad. And you have seen how important is smelling well here. The good news is that these are things you can take care of. 2. You now have rich people problems and will need to be smarter to choose wisely. Most of them will be nicer with you because you are American or European, but not because they are that way. 3. It can be dangerous. You need to know who is she. It's very important where you met her. It's way better if you met her in a class or cultural event than in a club. 4. This can be a con and a pro, but you will need to learn Spanish, especially if you want to build a real connection with her and her family. 5. If you don't have money, come on, you're a foreigner. Even women who are not gold diggers will expect you to have good earning power. And this is the comparative result. I hope you liked this video. Remember to subscribe and hit the like button.